Usually there's one area that totally is relinquished, and the rest is, for me, it was pulling away from my family in the name of supporting my family. My boys are 17 and 21. And last year, my business has been very, very good for me, to me. They said, Dad, we love how successful you are, but we don't care. If you had nothing, it wouldn't matter. I'm like, God, that's pretty deep coming from a 17 and 21-year-old. But only, this is COVID. So 5 years ago, my oldest was sitting at the table. Maybe it was like 4 years ago, sitting at the table. He said, Dad, I've never seen or known anybody who works as hard as you, but it feels like you've never really gotten what you deserve from it. That was like a dagger in the heart.
Dude.
Yeah. And that was actually, so that was about 3.5 years ago. That was a major turning point in my own journey, where I'm like, enough is enough.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of things that changed at that point, and success followed afterwards. And money's not the end all and be all, but my boy saying that to me this year, I think it was this year, like last January, was very profound. And it made me kind of rewind all the way back and go, I was missing the one thing that they needed at that time, which was their dad and time.
Welcome to DFW Grit. I'm Dr. James Taylor, and I'm your host, and this is more than just a podcast. We dive into the stories of the movers, the shakers, the small business owners, the entrepreneurs, right here in the DFW Metroplex. This is your home for authentic, real stories that prove what happens when you don't back down. Let's get to work. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of DFW Grit. Today with me, Mr. Scott Rammage. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Did we meet through the dad's group?
That's right.
Okay, perfect. Because I don't know if you've done any research on this, but that group comes up quite a lot. But even in doing a little Facebook stalking of you, we've got a lot of mutual friends that are outside the dad's group.
Oh, cool.
Kyle Draper.
Oh, yeah.
Brian Golke.
Okay.
Which I'm nothing against you. I'm really trying to get him on here. Have you seen his stuff with the reading of the faces and whatnot?
Oh, I've seen him in person. Yes. Yeah. Talk about that. It's wild.
It's insane. Yes. And that's just seeing it on video, let alone I want him to analyze me, but we're not here to talk about Brian. We're here to talk about you. So quick little overview: husband, father, serial entrepreneur from what I can gather.
Absolutely.
It was funny. It's funny to me. We're talking at the beginning here. We're going to go off of 3 questions. Number 1, your origin story and how you got to where you are. And you chuckled just like that. So do us a favor, introduce us to you. Because like I said, what I gleaned from the internet, the word I used was meandered.
Yeah.
To get where you're at here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't even know where to start, but I was professionally trained as a teacher, got my master's degree in education. So that's where I started. And it was really interesting because I started teaching in 2001, and about 6 months in, I'm like, this is really easy. Like, I loved it. I loved working with the kids, and everything at that time was a little different. So there was a lot of creativity, and I was, why are all the teachers here till 6? I'm like, the bell's done. I'm done with work. I'm super fast at work. And so not long after that, I started chasing down other things, but I am first a husband for sure. I've been married, 29 years.
We'll edit out that hesitation in case she watches this.
Yeah, that's okay. She hesitates sometimes. It's just like, we've been dating for 30 some, and we were high school sweethearts. So,
cool.
Yeah, it was.
Are you from Texas? No, you're from Oregon.
I'm from Oregon.
Yeah.
I don't tell too many people that though.
Shit, sorry.
No. And so, and then I have 2 boys, and they're grown. We got the last one in a senior year. So we're kind of like the empty nester thing here soon.
Right.
And, just 21 years of running businesses of all different kinds. And here I am, started with the education, and I look back at all the things I did, and I'm sure we'll talk about this, but it's all just, creating the groundwork for what's working so well now, like what I'm supposed to be doing.
This is a perfect segue, because the question I was formulating in my head, you're in education, you were, we'll say safe, stable, paycheck.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Apparently bored out of your skull.
Yeah.
But safe. How old were your kids when you left education?
So I actually didn't, when my first son was about to be born, I told my wife, hey, I work on bikes in the summer because I did that in grad school and
Mm-hmm.
became a master mechanic, loved it, rode bikes all the time. I'm going to just work on bikes in my own basement for people. They've been asking me, and I was working for a shop in the summer and
Like bicycle. Okay.
bicycles. And I started doing that and it grew fast. So then I got a 300 square foot spot. I'm still teaching. This is in
Mm-hmm.
the summer, and it just kept going. And so I taught and owned a bike shop that went to 3,000 square foot floor space
Oh.
within like 6 months, and all at the same time. And I did that for 5 years. So I taught, would go to the bike shop, manage, do the things, be home around 9, leave at 4 in the morning the next morning, go to the gym, bike shop, home to change, back to school, rinse and repeat. But remember, I started the bike shop right when I had my first child.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm doing the first 5 years of my life, my entrepreneurial journey teaching.
Yep.
Every hour is filled, and I barely know my kid at 5 years
Yeah.
old. And by then I had 2.
Okay.
So that's how I started my entrepreneurial journey. The bike shop was very successful.
Uh-huh.
And I was, one day I came home, and it was like that moment. You're like, oh, okay, I really messed up. I walk in and the lights are out. I'm like, my boys are asleep. My
Uh-huh.
wife's asleep. What kind of life is
Oh,
this?
that hurts, dude, just
Yeah.
hearing it.
And so I told my wife, I had, some conversations with myself. I told my wife, this is not okay. And she goes, no. And she was so stoic through the whole time, just
Mm-hmm.
like, maybe this is what life is. And she was a professional. She's a physical therapist, and just kind of running lives parallel, but she was doing everything really.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working, for my family. And we just sat down, and I saw another business owner. I'm like, hey, what do you think I should do? So we went and had dinner with him and his wife. His wife was a teacher.
Okay.
And they're like, hey, teaching's safe. You should do teaching. He was a business owner. What I didn't know at the moment was he was exiting his business to become a teacher as well.
Oh.
So he was kind of biased in that zone.
Uh-huh.
And so I told my wife, okay, shutting it down. And I just saw her eyes light up. And I said, I'm going to find a buyer and then we'll exit, because it was profitable.
Yeah.
And on that kind of business, you do preseason orders. So you order a bunch of stuff that comes in, and then you got 90 days or 120 days to pay it, because you sell really fast because it's new product line. And we never had issues with that. And we were right in that cycle. And I found a buyer, and and we were going to just basically get out of it and be free, not walk away with a lot of money, just make it super easy.
Yep.
He was getting a sweetheart deal. He was just going to take over the payments and what was in stock inventory. On his drive in, he changed his mind. And so I hadn't sold anything. I hadn't done anything. I kept everything running. And he called and he said, hey, look, I talked to the local college. Oh, right. Like they know anything about business. And, I'm not going to do this. What? And so I did a fire sale, like a 2-day fire. I told my wife, I promised, and shut it down, took on $250,000 of debt overnight, and just like slowly sold stuff out of my basement, and paid back that debt after about 8 years. I didn't do bankruptcy. I didn't do anything. I just took it on and worked through for the remainder years. I went back to teaching.
Mm-hmm.
But what people don't tell you is that when you have an identity shift like that, or you take something away that's made part of your identity, is you become lost.
Yeah.
So I was miserable. I didn't know how to be a dad. I didn't know how to be a father. I'm $250,000 in debt. No one wants to ride bikes with me, so I'm getting fat. It was just like, it was the worst thing ever, but it launched me into the next thing. So
dude, that's wild, because I told you, just doing a little digging on you and going through some of your reels. And the quote I wrote from one of the reels I saw that I wanted to hope we figured out a way into is, identity isn't a journey that ends. Like, you open up a reel, I'm like, oh, I'm going to see where the next 46 seconds of this thing goes, because
right.
it's interesting in that I'll say I'm going through it also. And I would like to think, maybe just to take some of the weight off my own shoulders, that it's something that everybody's presented with.
Yeah.
Some people accept it, some people ignore it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting deeper than I thought I would.
I love it.
But like, I start off as I'm a chiropractor,
Mm-hmm.
and I was in with another doctor, and we had this office share thing. So basically, I was renting space from him. So like, I was a business owner, but it was safe. Like, his name was on all the stuff. And then I bought him out, and then I became, the business owner,
Yeah.
and then I, moved into a space, and then I moved into this space. And when I got in here, then I became a building owner. I bought the building, and then from there it went to like, I mean, heck, even like this, I would say this year, I've had more turnover in employees than I had in the previous 10. And now it's like, well, shit, like I'm not just a chiropractor or a landlord, like not going to be like a manager of people too. And
Right.
it's funny because I have to say it's funny because if I say it's any other word, then they'll just sink down to that. Like this weekend, I told you I was in here, I was doing a little bit of work, and it flashed into my head. My parents were managers of people in their respective jobs when I was growing up. And I remember just vividly, my mom had said something to the effect of like, it's like being an overpaid babysitter. And I'm sitting here and I'm doing work, and that thought popped into my head. I'm like, that's a really shitty way to think about it.
Yeah.
If that's literally what you have to do. But like, as I was doing, like, I went through seriously, this is wild. There's been not to totally get off topic. There's been a number of these podcasts where I'll have somebody come in. I know so very little about them. And then something comes up that has happened within hours, if you will, in my recent life.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, oh, apparently this person's here for a reason. So if I could bring this thing full circle, let's talk about that identity thing. That like it truly it doesn't end.
It does not end.
It evolves if you're willing to let it.
Yeah. Yeah. And the one thing that we all have to understand is that if we place our identity in something that can be stripped from us, it's very dangerous.
I hate where this is going already, but
I had
continue.
my identity in that bike shop, and overnight, all of a sudden, I wasn't the guy with the hookup. I wasn't the guy running big trips and shuttles and managing everything. I wasn't the guy that could fix everybody's bike on the trail anymore because I didn't want to deal with that anymore.
Right.
I wasn't the guy that and so it went from hundreds of friends, my phone ringing off the hook, to always go ride and do these things, which was filling up all of my time, to crickets. And that strips your identity really fast.
I bet.
I'm not the bike guy anymore. And I've gone through multiple iterations of that. And not to get, I don't really want to go into this, but about 3 months ago, 2.5, golly, lost time. I was
2025 has been wild.
Oh,
dude.
you have no idea. So I was walking from my lunch, walking with my wife to my office, and just fell over. Couldn't walk for an hour, couldn't talk, slurring. My mind was, and so I literally
How many
had,
margaritas do you have at lunch?
right. I really literally had, I went from running my business to 6-7 weeks of non-function, full on non-function.
Damn.
And where she was like taking care of me. And so then again, I'm like, wait a minute, who I was at that moment isn't serving me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And thank goodness I had built the system and the people. But like, I don't think you can get away from that journey. And I think every step you take is going to lead you a little closer to really who you are.
Yeah.
And so my newest iteration is my impact is what it's all about. And so now it's really interesting. I see things like, okay, that can't be taken from me, because every time I do something that's impactful, I've left a mark.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that has a lot to do with my age. I'm 52. A lot of the experiences I've had, but it really never ends. It really never does. But I really try and warn people is, we're talking about dads groups. I ran a dads group during COVID. It started before COVID. In about 4 years, I ran a dads group, did trips, all sorts of things. And I would always tell men, there's two things that can be taken away really, really quick, and usually in order. Your wife, because she could leave you,
Mm-hmm.
and your kids, because she could take them with her. And this happens all the time. It didn't happen to me, but these guys, when that happens, their identity is just gone.
Yeah.
Because I'm a father. Wait a minute. No. Well, I work here, but I hate my work. Like, what am I doing now? So you just have to be really careful what we place everything in. And, your kids could be in a car and die. And I don't I don't wish that on anybody, but that can happen. And if you're a father and that is your whole being, like, I think it's wonderful, but you have to be prepared for a shift.
So in that, because I mean, I'm a father, I'm a husband, and to play into stereotypes, which I'm totally okay with because I play into it daily in my identity.
Yeah.
I'm a provider, right?
Yep.
But there's something that feels, if I was going to do something for me, this is James Taylor talking. If I'm going to do something for me, that feels selfish. Like I should be putting them first. I should be putting my wife first. I should be putting my kids first. Hell, a lot of times you talk about the turnover I had this year. You know, I do, my best to, put my employees first. But there's, I'm the serial, not the serial entrepreneur, but again, the stereotype in that, like, I've taken pride in the amount of hours I put in.
Right.
I do more before sunrise than most people do in a week, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But taking time away, like for me, it feels, well, I should be doing X, Y, and Z because I've got all these people depending upon me. Just in your experience, where does how does it hell, let's turn this into a therapy session for James Taylor. You guys could turn it off if you want. Where do you take how do you take time for yourself without feeling selfish, with knowing it's a necessity?
Well, you're right in my spot, right? My hot spot right now. Because years and years and years of that is what created my 6-week non-functional, was me taking care of everyone else and not myself. I've always done the workouts every morning. I tell everybody by 9 a.m. I've done I could quit the day, right? I'm like, I've done everything. I've worked out. I've done the things, but those become rote. And so for me, I'm learning how to have fun. There's things I love to do, but I'm learning how to have fun again because I've taken all those roles and been just super responsible for them. But it's the dumb analogy everyone uses is when the airlines say, give yourself the oxygen first.
Yeah.
And when you're talking to a mother who is serving everybody else and she's out of shape and she's not eating and she's not working out, she's not doing thing, and you're like, just look good. You got to take care of yourself. It's not about her looks, but it's about how she feels about herself.
Right.
You have to take care of yourself first. It's the same thing. And when you take care of yourself mentally or emotionally, physically, like the whole gamut, is when you can serve other people better. And so that's really been my focus. And even when I was serving everyone first, I still wasn't giving my all because I was pulling from like an empty bucket. And so this is all really fresh with me, but it's been quick and rapid, and it's been very successful just in really reframing my brain, because entrepreneurs, everything rises and falls on us. Yeah. Everything. When you start a business, a lot of us are solopreneurs first. I was for years. It was like I'm the one that has to create everything. I'm the one that has to buy everything. I'm the one that has to do everything. And then we have to separate from that to grow. So now I have staff that can do it. And I got to give that up. And the way they do it is the way they do it. And hopefully it's better than the way I do it, but who knows, right? It's different than mine, so I might not like it. And so that identity, it just keeps going away and away and away and away. I mean, it keeps changing, if you will. And we just have to, I think it's just a never ending journey. Just like I said, I just don't think it stops. But I think the people who stop are the ones who stop growing in their business or in their family, and they pull away from one area. Usually there's one area that totally is relinquished, and the rest is, for me, it was pulling away from my family in the name of supporting my family. My boys are 17 and 21. And last year, my business has been very, very good for me, to me. They said, Dad, we love how successful you are, but we don't care. If you had nothing, it wouldn't matter. I'm like, God, that's pretty deep coming from a 17 and 21-year-old. But this is COVID. So 5 years ago, my oldest was sitting at the table. Maybe it was like 4 years ago, sitting at the table. He said, Dad, I've never seen or known anybody who works as hard as you, but it feels like you've never really gotten what you deserve from it. That was like a dagger in the heart.
Dude.
Yeah. And that was actually, so that was about 3.5 years ago. That was a major turning point in my own like journey where I'm like, enough is enough.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of things that changed at that point, and success followed afterwards. Every business I've done has actually made money. It's just been that, it's okay.
Right.
And money's not the end all and be all, but my boy saying that to me this year, I think it was this year, like last January, was very profound. And it made me kind of rewind all the way back and go, I was missing the one thing that they needed at that time, which was their dad and time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I I just talked in circles.
Dude, I don't even care. Everything you said was great. Because
So
again, like it's just another little example of this microcosm. Like I said, like this happens routinely where stuff will happen in my life and I'll have an interview scheduled and shit will come up that I literally just encountered. Like I was on we just got done with a long holiday weekend and I'm sitting there doom scrolling and I come across this thing that said, if your kids had a choice between you having more money and you having more time, they'd choose time every time. I'm like, drop that phone. Like, I feel like being sad right now. God damn it.
I know.
And then now I got a guy sitting before me my same thing happened to me. Like it's insane. Just, and also like, not to again get off on a tangent, but like, all these things happen for a reason. And I think there's these commonalities and these stuff that pop up all the time. And I mean, hell, when you can relinquish an identity or be open to your identity changing, then you start to see these kind of things. Like I wouldn't have put 2 and 2 together like that. I mean, hell, I've done it. I'm 4 and 4 now because I've done it twice in this talk. But like me 5 years ago, I was nose to the grindstone. I was way too focused on patient visits and money coming in to notice things like that. And you're talking about like when you can kind of let go to grow. Maybe let go of these kind of things. Then that's where you said the growth just skyrockets.
Mm-hmm.
And if I could say too, like going through just your pre-interview stuff, you talk about how you help people with the ability to actually to see that and do that, to have that time.
Yeah.
It's one thing to read it, because I'll say this. I've interviewed plenty of people who say stuff along the same lines. And I mean, hell, there's business and coaching. We just passed Black Friday. There's all kinds of ads out there saying the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And not to take anything away from you, but now to hear why you say that, I'm sorry you had to go through it, but it's awesome because it tells me that what you wrote down in just this little Google form is actually coming from, some place that's genuine.
And I think that's why success came. I always talk about trying for years. I tried to push, push my way into success, and I hit a ceiling, and I was successful in what I was doing, but I just never, got past that point, whether it was working for other people, contracting, my own business, whatever it was. I would find success, but it just felt so frictional.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of friction. And so I have 2 businesses. One does podcast production and social media management, but the other one is Hire VP, which places overseas very bright and talented overseas talent with business owners, and like it's an executive assistant, very affordable. We're impacting their lives on a very huge level because we pay like double, triple what they could make at home. They're working from home, and our clients are just blown away, and we grow that way. But really what it comes down to is I decided I'm going to stop searching for the big hit. And so I'm on the phone one day, I get this referral from somebody, and I'm on the phone with a surgeon. I'm like, what does she want with social media? She's like, well, I want to do podcasts. I'm sitting there listening to her. She's actually works for NASA, surgeon for NASA, and does all these other things. One of these major overachievers. And I'm like sitting here going, okay, we're talking. And in my head, this is like days after my son said, you've worked so hard. In my head, I'm going, I can't sell her my service. And this was the trend. I can't. It's not the right solution for her at all. But I need the money really bad because I bought that business and it was really struggling. And so I needed money bad. And I'm sitting there and I'm listening to her. And I said, you know what? Honestly, my business is not right for you. And she's like, I could tell she was disappointed. I said, what you need is your own person who understands your voice, who understands the way you operate, who understands your schedule, who can work around your schedule, who can become more like you. My business was a bunch of people serving you, and you need like this one person. And I said, I'm just actually going to recruit somebody for you. I've never done this before. And I said, this is how much it's going to cost. And it was like such little money. and and I went away from that, and she's like, absolutely. I went away from that, and I was, oh, that was easy. And I'm actually doing what she needs. And that's where Higher VP was born.
Not selling what you have.
Right. And at that moment, it's like, wow, I look back at many of my clients that had left. I'm like, we weren't filling their need. This was their need. They needed it a little more private or a little more personal than the just the service we were providing. And that's where this business was, my newest business was born, and where it started to run. And the whole thing was, I was so the guy that did everything. My identity was I fix people's problems. And I was doing everything to fix their problems. And I finally learned, and this relates to one of your other questions I'm sure you'll ask, but I finally learned that I don't have to be the one to do it all. And in fact, if I'm not the one to do it, I actually reduce my stress and things will get done better. And I had to learn that. And then that's what I teach people. So I am incredibly passionate about it because, when I had my recent health thing, my whole focus was I want to pass the best bus test. If I get hit by a bus today and I'm dead, will my business continue without me? So I've been pushing on that for 6 months. Will my business work without me? And will it continue to pay my family for as long as they want it to? And will everything keep rolling and growing? And I faced the best test in the best way possible. I was just made inoperable for 6 weeks, and I passed it. And that even pushed me more into this passion of like, there's a lot of business owners out there that if they take a month off, they're screwed. Their family's like, wait, what now? How am I going to eat? And so I'm more passionate about it now than I have ever been.
Well, let's go into that identity thing. Again, coming from a business owner. So one of my last hires, and in all reality, in hindsight, should have been my first, was an executive assistant, a personal assistant.
Oh, yeah.
And I am, again, we talked about turnover. Excuse me. I'm on my fourth in 2 years. And the biggest reason why is because of me.
Yep.
Because, I'm the guy. At the very beginning, I was struggling. The very first one I had, I was struggling to find stuff for her to do. Yeah. Just as I should be laughed at. And then with each iteration, it's become more and more and more. So I guess a two-pronged question is like, because I imagine you run into people all the time. I don't need a VA, and you're like, bullshit.
Yeah.
So one, what are some things that like people just wouldn't think about that they just do just so systematically because it's part of their routine that could alleviate? But two, if you run into someone like me who has trouble delegating, we'll say, to put it politely, who just, i.e., if I hoard these tasks and they get done because of me, then I get the credit because it's me.
Yeah.
Like, how do you combat those things?
Multiple pronged, but first of all, the once you learn what can be done and what's really taking your time, it will blow your mind. And I'm sure you've kind of seen some of this unfold. And a common stat is very well known. Your productivity is reduced by up to 20% per switch.
I saw that reel you posted too.
So you literally open your email while you're doing something else that can reduce your productivity 20%. But then you get back to the thing and a text comes through and you look at the text, that's another 20%. But over time, those actually stack. You could lose 80% of your productivity in a day. So if you do the math, that's very significant. And we think it's just taking us seconds, but what it's doing is it's stopping loops in your head. So it's like you're running a computer, you don't have enough RAM, and you've got like 15 tabs open, you'll get the little spinning wheel. And the spinning wheel is there because RAM on your computer is updating everything all the time. And it's just keeping it on front of the mind.
Mm-hmm.
Your brain is the exact same. So email, calendar, I got a podcast this week. How long does it take me to drive? I need to put that in my calendar. I need to get enrollment of that state so I can hire somebody over there. I need to, like, all these little things are tabs in your brain. Okay. So the big picture is here. The more tabs you close and just let happen, the higher level you think. Okay. So you're going to actually be such a more incredible business owner because you'll think so much bigger. And so when you learn those things and understand all of the little things, it's like, oh, if I let that go, I can let that go. But it's all about having someone you trust.
Yeah.
And so it's a superpower, but it can't be handled lightly. You can't, people will say, oh, my mother or my sister-in-law she's awesome. She's super organized. I'm going to hire her as an executive assistant. I'm like, okay, I'll talk to you in 3 weeks.
Right.
Right. And so the thing I tell people are like, well, I need to be ready. I'm like, no, you don't need to be ready. And so it's unmanageable. A story here is when I started Hire VP, I learned I knew how to recruit, but I started recruiting processes because I'm doing it more and more and more now. And then I started like, oh, how do I train my clients? Because I'm spending a ton of time training them how to do this thing. That's what I realized. Yeah. Clients need a lot of support. And then I started, and I'm like, oh, I got to create SOPs and processes for all these things. And I did everything. I got to this point. I was interviewing for one of my clients, and this gal named Chloe was on. Man, there's just something about her. I said, hey, would you be maybe interested in working for me instead of this client? She's like, absolutely. And so she was my first EA, like actual EA. I had EAs before. And I said, I just want you on every phone call, every Zoom, reading every email I do, every response I do, everything that comes in. I just want you studying my life. And she did. And about a week later, she's like, okay, on this type of email, when a client does this, can I write the response and send it to you? Yes. Okay. She's writing the responses. She's saying, I'm curating them a little bit. Oh, I would never say this and this and then this. And then before I know it, she's sending me responses that are better than mine because she's taking time to do it. I'm like, that email belongs to you now. And then it's the next thing and the next thing, because she learned everything about me. And then she's like, I'm ready to do all the recruiting now. Okay, this is really good. And then I had this conversation with her. Hey, you're learning all sorts of things. Basically, you're learning, you're another me.
Yeah.
When you get too busy, let me know, which of course she's like at 80 hours a week before she tells me this. And I'm like, okay, now find all the things you hate the most. We'll create a job description. We'll hire for it. And you hand all those SOPs on. And we did that until we hit 2 million. And then we had like 5 people working under her. And then it was time to kind of like grow the business. But that's what an EA can do. A good EA is they have the emotional intelligence and the soft skills to understand what's needed and get out there and just do it. And she still to this day tells me what's needed. And in fact, she told me this week, and I've been trying to get a hold of James. He hasn't responded yet. Are you sure you want to go? I'm like, yeah, I want to go. But like, she's just
I did walk in this morning, holiday week.
Yeah.
I did walk into at least 2, possibly 3 emails of her confirming this.
Right.
She's like, oh, I should have checked my computer after Thanksgiving.
Her whole job is to take care of me. And so I've since moved her just to my family and my EA. She takes care of, she's booking appointments for me, booking dentist, but my dentist right now, because I keep putting it off. But like, I didn't have to worry about where you were located, because I know that she knows she's going to look up the drive time. She's going to put it in on my calendar, the drive time on there with a buffer and the address. So when I go get in my car, all I do is hit the button on my phone. It takes me the address, knock it on, it puts it on my GPS. I'm good to go.
Hell yeah.
I don't have to do anything. So like, open your mind. But the other thing is you talked about,
it was one, the realization of, do I need to be no, you don't.
Oh my
you
gosh.
probably do. The second one was, like finding stuff for them, like pulling tasks out of you.
Yeah.
Again, like this was my personal thing. I can definitely see in hindsight, I didn't know it at the time, was, well, if I do it, then I'm the one who did it.
That's the hardest part, is letting go. But I tell people, just do it long enough and you'll figure it out. So when we recruit, this isn't like, listen, if a business owner watches this and says, Scott, I want the information you had, I don't want to use you, I will give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's fine. So we use systems to find the right person. So with business owners, we almost always know when it's an executive assistant. Now we place, engineers and like very skilled people as well. But when we do an executive assistant specifically, or an assistant of any sort, there's a certain working behavior profile and a certain like framework that we're looking for.
Yep.
Because they're that person that comes and says, hey, James, I see you doing this and I really don't think it's worth your time. I would like to take it from you, but I know it's really hard. And people are like, you're not going to find someone like that. But I get texts all the time, Scott, you wouldn't believe it. And one of my clients sent me, he was very critical. He sent me a text about 3 months in, and he said, I'll abbreviate a little bit, but his text was a screenshot of his VA's conversations with him. You're going to go here and make sure the traffic's really bad between here and here. I mean, it was like this whole, like, when you get there, just text me, because then I'm going to call this person and tell him. I mean, it was like, he's like, I'm so effing bored because this gal does everything so much better than I could ever do. He goes, I'm going to start another business. He has. He started two since. But and they've hired like 25 VAs. Their business is completely revolutionized because they're being able to scale.
Uh-huh.
They're in New York City too, which actually helps because their staffing's ridiculous there. But he was skeptical, but we got that person who's like, stop doing that. You have bigger things you can do with your time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the big thing. When a business owner, when you free up the time, we think better. And for me, the biggest asset I have is thinking big and helping solve really big problems. And then it's also just connecting, because connecting brings resources and brings referrals and brings business. And so I know that my highest ROI isn't in how much time I put in the business anymore. I could work 3 hours a week, as long as it's very focused and it's on those things.
Yeah.
We're going to grow faster than if I were in the weeds, because I've hired people that are smarter and better at each of those roles than me, because we have a great hiring system. But that's what I would tell somebody. Well, do you want your business to grow beyond you?
Right.
Because Dan Martell says this, great author, he simplifies the process a little bit, but he says, if you don't have an assistant, you are the assistant. Yep. And that is so true. And then he says, someone else doing it is someone doing it at 80% that you can do it is 100% awesome. And I think he's completely wrong there, because when you find the right person, someone else is going to do it at 100% what you were doing at 80%. Because we're so busy doing so many things.
Yeah, everything else.
Think we're doing just the best job ever.
It's just not.
It's
true. Impossible.
It is impossible. So I hope those kind of like answer the question.
But like it is. It's a matter of like, if you're an idea person, I don't want to say this, to belittle like people out there who are really good at working, but like, you can't do everything. You just can't. And there are people out there who just love to do that stuff. Let them love to do it.
Well, even business owners, this is a big thing. A lot of business owners get it because they get into a business because they love doing the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then they take on business. They're like, I'm doing accounts receivable. I'm doing billing. I'm doing estimates. I'm chasing clients for this. I'm connecting and making sure they're home, if they're a home service. And I just want to get out there and do some plumbing, or I just want to swing the hammer, or I just want to crack, do therapy on people. And that's a different thing. Like, okay, that's your sweet spot. Do what gives you energy. My executive coach says there's 3 levels. There's time, money, and energy. The highest level's energy. So if you can go to work in the day and you loved working on people and that's all you wanted to deal with, everyone else should be doing everything else. Yeah. And that's where you're going to grow your business, because those people are going to love it because you love it, and they're going to tell more people about it. So you have to think of the full picture and not fall into the trap of, everyone says I have to be an entrepreneur and I'm working at a very high level. No, you need to be operating at a high level. And but the ROI will come from your energy.
Yep.
Because you'll leave, you'll have more for the company. When you come back, you'll be thinking about bigger things, whether you're digging ditches or just coming up with new ideas.
I mean, to quote Judge Smails, the world needs ditch diggers too. I don't know if you've seen Caddyshack recently.
No, absolutely. And it's absolutely true. Yeah.
Well, like, I mean, and I said at the beginning, don't think camera's rolling yet. Like, I wanted people to learn about you. Yeah, and I'll tell you, I love this conversation. You're fucking cool.
Thank you.
But also, like, because you work with people you know, like, and trust. I'll tell you right now, after this, 25, 30 minutes, I know, like, and trust you. It's like, we'll get to your business stuff, and I'm glad we did get on the back end. But if anything we said resonated with people out there, and God, I hope it did. How do people find you? How do people like reach out and be like, hey, I want to see if you've got something I need, or hell, maybe like I might, come to you with the problem and you might be like, hey, I'm not the guy for you, but like, how do people find you?
And I will say that, by the way,
yeah.
I mean, if I can't solve the problem, the last thing I want to do is take your money and you be mad.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not good for anybody, but it's Facebook is great. Instagram, Scott Rammage with 2 M's. And hirevp.us will get you, the blanket spot.
Yeah.
But it's not a flex, but I am pretty low key. You can message me and I'll respond. But at the next step, I'll send you with someone who's better at doing the thing than me.
Yeah.
Right. And I think some people, that's another thing for business owners, a lesson. I'll put another lesson in here is if you're the face of the company always, and the first line of contact, you could be spending your time wrongly.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have processes to get through to me, but if you do shoot me a message on Facebook or Instagram, I'm going to be the first one to respond. And then I'll tell you who you need to talk to. That's going to give you a lot better information than me. But that's the best way. Yeah.
Dude,
no one else.
So much of what you said today was equal parts enlightening and defensive. Coming from a business owner and entrepreneur.
Yeah, I know. I do offend a lot of people quite often.
I don't think it was intentional as a personal attack, but I'm going to take it that way on a couple of things. But dude, honestly, like, I'm not kidding, dude. You're real fucking cool. This was a great talk. I really appreciate
Thank you.
taking the time to swing in. Apologize to your VA for me for
she doesn't leave any leaf unturned. So I'm sorry to you too.
That's a good quality to have.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know how many of these you caught all the way to the end, but I end every one the exact same, man. I think it is equally as true now as it has been in the past. My intent is that people will learn here more by accident than elsewhere by design.
I love that.
And shit, dude, in all reality, I think a call to you could amplify that 100-fold. So again, I appreciate your time. I really do.
Thank
Guys, as always, like, share, follow. Check out Hire VP. Hell, just message Scott on Facebook.
Message me. You'll get me.
You'll get, at least for the first couple of messages.
It'll be read by someone else, but you'll get me. Right. I will respond to it.
It's awesome. You guys have a great rest of your day. We'll catch you on the next episode of DFW Grit. I'll check y'all later.